So hello everyone, how are you all? Welcome to the second session of physics. And as you all know, we were discussing some questions of kinematics in last class. Today also we'll do some questions over kinematics. Okay. Hello Manpreet, Melrick, Sanitya, Sudeb, all of you welcome to the class. So today also we're going to solve some questions of kinematics. Hello Faizan. So students, this question came in JEE Advanced 2018, and the question is: two vectors, A vector and B vector, are defined as A vector as A I cap and B vector as A cos omega t I cap plus sine omega t j cap, where A is a constant and omega is equal to pi by 6 radian per second. So if magnitude of A plus B vector is root 3 times of A minus B vector, so at time t is equal to tau. Okay, so we have to find the value of tau here. So students, this question is actually a very easy question, but it's based on visualization. Okay, how you visualize a vector. Okay, the first thing that you should know is how to add two vectors. That's very easy. As we have learned, suppose there are two vectors, A vector and B vector. Okay, this is A vector and this is B vector. Okay, so if you want to calculate the magnitude of their resultant, what you have to do? You have to first of all complete this parallelogram. Okay, and when you complete the parallelogram, the vector that is along this diagonal is actually your resultant. Okay, so students, let us say that this is A vector. This is A vector. This is B vector. So this one is, see, this is the angle between them. Okay, so this is A plus B vector. Okay, as you all know about this. Yes, and the magnitude of A and B, A plus B, is given by this formula. It's very simple. Yes, A square A square plus B square plus 2AB cos of theta. And the second thing is, if you want to, yes, you can also apply triangle law. So if you want to subtract vector B from vector A, what you have to do, you have to just add the negative of vector B in vector A. Yes. So if you want to subtract vector B from vector A, what you have to do, suppose this is vector A. Okay. And this is vector B. So in order to find the resultant A minus B, what you have to do? You have to just add the reverse of B vector along the A vector. So student, just see, this is your B vector. Okay, so the angle between A and B is theta, and the opposite of this vector is minus B vector. Okay, so now students, what is the angle between A vector and minus B vector? You can see that this pi minus theta is the angle between them. Yeah. Yes. Pi minus theta is the angle between them. A vector and minus b vector. So if you want to calculate a vector minus b vector's magnitude, you can write it as a vector minus b vector is equal to under root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos of pi minus theta. Or we can write it as under root of a square plus b square minus of 2ab cos of theta. So students, coming back to the question, yes, coming back to the question was, like, there are two vectors. A vector is along x-axis because I cap is the unit vector along the x-axis. Okay, so you can draw a vector as, let us say that this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. Okay, so this is your x and this is your y. So a vector is along I cap. So that means this is the a vector along I cap, along x-axis, and its magnitude is a. Okay, its magnitude is a. So that is a vector. And talking about the other vector, a cos omega t I cap plus sine omega t j cap. So students, you can analyze it. You can analyze b vector. You have learned this in your physics that, suppose there's a vector, a vector. We can write it as ax I cap plus ay j cap, where ax is a component of a vector along x-axis and ay is a component of a vector along y-axis. So we can also write it, if this vector a, if a vector is making an angle theta with the x-axis, so we can write it as, a vector is a cos theta into I cap plus a sin theta into j cap. Okay, so that's, see, in the same manner you can analyze this vector. So this vector is having a magnitude a and having a cos omega t as x component and a sin omega t as y component. Okay, so that is a vector that is at an angle omega t with the x-axis like this, and having the magnitude a. Okay, so that means magnitude of b vector is also a, and it is at an angle omega t from the x-axis. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to find a vector plus b vectors and a vector minus b vectors magnitude. Okay, so using the formula that we have written just before, so the angle between the vector is omega t. Okay, so theta is equal to omega t here, and a vector plus b vector, the magnitude is given as under root of a square plus, again, the magnitude of B vector is also A square, A. So A square plus 2A into A into cos of omega t. Yes. So that means A vector plus B vector is given as twice of A square plus twice of A square cos omega t. So you can further write it as 2A square taking common 1 plus cos omega t. Okay. So students, as you all know, 1 plus cos omega t is how much? It's equal to 2 cos square omega t by 2. As you all know, 1 plus cos omega t is actually equal to 2 cos square omega t by 2. So that is equal to 2A square into twice of cos square omega t by 2. So we can write this as, we can write A plus B vector's magnitude as 2A cos of omega t by 2. This is the first result that we have derived from the question. Okay. This first equation. Now, talking about A vector minus B vector. And as we know, the formula for A vector minus B vector we have written just here, as you all know. So using the same, so the magnitude of A vector is A, and that of B vector is also A, minus twice of A multiplied by A into cos of omega t. So students, the same way, you can write it as 2A square minus 2A square cos of omega t. Okay. So that means you can write it as 2A square into 1 minus cos of omega t. So after that, you can further write it as 2A square into 2 sine square omega t by 2. Okay. So this is equal to 2A sine of omega t by 2. Students, in the question we are given that the magnitude of A plus B is root 3 times of A minus B. So we have derived the two relations. A vector plus B vector is 2A cos omega t by 2, and A vector minus B vector is equal to 2A sine omega t by 2. That is second equation. So equating that, so that is root 3 A minus B. Okay. So equating that as A vector plus B vector is equal to root 3 times of A vector minus B vector as it is given. So we have derived this as 2A cos of omega t by 2, and that is equal to root 3 into 2A sine omega t by 2. Okay. So you can cancel out 2A and 2A. So writing tan omega t by 2 equal to 1 by root 3. So from this we can write that like 1 by root 3 is the value of tan at pi by 6. So that means omega t by 2 is equal to pi by 6. So students, it is given that omega is equal to pi by 6 in the question. You can, if you see, omega is pi by 6. So you can just substitute the value of omega. So pi by 6 into t by 2 is equal to pi by 6. So that this implies that t is equal to 2 seconds. So this was a question that came in JEE 2018. So it was a bit lengthy question. Okay. So this is the only way that you can solve this question. Okay. So now let's see the second question. A projectile is given an initial velocity of I cap plus 2 j cap meter per second, where I cap is along the ground and j cap is along the vertical. If g is equal to 10 meter per second square, the equation of trajectory is. So student, what do we mean by trajectory? Trajectory means the path. Okay, the path. So we have to find the formula. Okay, the equation for the trajectory. Okay, so students, as you know, the initial speed is given as u vector equal to I cap plus 2 j cap. Yes, so you can say that the x component is, that is horizontal velocity, is 1 meter per second and vertical velocity is 2 meter per second. Okay, so what you can do, students, you can see that along horizontal there is no acceleration. Okay, so ax is equal to 0. Similarly, for y, you all know that there is acceleration due to gravity, that is g. So let's take upward direction to be positive and downward to be negative. Okay, taking upward direction to be positive and downward to be negative. This is plus and this is minus. So that means ay is equal to minus of g. That means minus of 10 meter per second square. Okay, so what you can do, see, if you want to find the x coordinate at any time t, see, basically what we have to do, we have to relate x coordinate and y coordinate at certain time t. Okay, so at certain time t, the x coordinate can be given as ux into t, because there is no acceleration in the horizontal direction. That means 1 into t is the x coordinate. Okay, what thing you can't get, Aman? Tell me. What we are doing, we are just writing the equations. Okay, just see, students, just see this thing. The initial velocity of projectile is given as I cap plus 2 j cap meter per second. So I cap is what? Is the unit vector along x-axis, and j cap is what? It's a unit vector along the y-axis. So that means the initial velocity has 1 meter per second as its horizontal speed, horizontal component, and 2 meter per second as the vertical component. That's all. So what we have to do, we have to find the equation of trajectory. So how we find that? We find by relating x and y at certain time t. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to relate x and y at certain time t. Okay. So let's say at certain time, at time t, the y coordinate is given as uy into t minus, sorry, plus half ay t square. That means 2 into t minus half into 10 into t square. that is your y coordinate. Okay. So student, what we can do, we can eliminate this time t and substitute the value in the y. Okay. So from here we can write t is equal to x by 1 or simply x and substitute in y. So y is equal to twice of x minus 1 by 2 into 10 into x square. Okay. So this means 2x minus 5x square. So this is the equation of trajectory. Beta Omkar, see, it depends upon us. It basically depends upon us which direction you want to take positive or which direction you want to take negative. So in the given question, I have taken downward direction to be negative. That's why. Okay. So it's totally dependent upon you, how you're solving the question. So students, there is one more way by which this question can be solved. As you all know, the formula for equation of trajectory. What is the equation of trajectory, students? You all know that y is equal to x tan theta minus gx square upon 2u square cos square theta. This is the formula for equation of trajectory. Yes. So you have learned in your school or like before this. So now in this question, what we have to do, we have to find theta. Okay. That means the angle by which the projectile is thrown. So students, we can modify this equation as x tan theta minus of g x square upon 2u square into secant square theta. Or we can also write it as y is equal to x tan theta minus of gx square upon 2u square into 1 plus tan square theta. Okay. So students, we can calculate the value of theta simply from the given equation. So in the above equation, what we can do, as you know, the u vector is equal to, initial speed is equal to I cap plus 2j cap. Okay. So suppose this is your x and this is your y. So this is your x component of velocity. This is 1, and this one is your vertical component 2. So the velocity is along, let's say, angle theta. So you can write tan theta as, 2 upon 1. Simply the y component by x component. Okay. And also you can find the value of u that has to be substituted. This is the magnitude of initial velocity. So you can find u as under root of 1 square plus 2 square. That means under root of 5. Okay. So students, just substitute these values, you'll get the same equation. You substitute these values. So y is equal to x into tan theta, that means 2 minus g x square by u is twice of u square, that means 5 into 1 plus tan square theta, so 2 square. Okay. So y is equal to 2x minus Now we can substitute the value of g, 10 x square divided by 10, and that is 5. So same equation you have got here, 2x minus 5x square. Same equation. So this method was a bit lengthy as compared to the previous method. Okay, so this is the method, students. Now let's talk about the third question. Okay, so this question is based on two concepts. One is your projectile motion, and the other one is the relative velocity. So a train is moving along a straight line with a constant acceleration a. A boy standing in the train throws a ball forward with a speed 10 meters per second at an angle of 60 degree, okay, from the horizontal. So the boy has to move forward by 1.15 meters inside the train to catch the ball, okay, back at the initial height. See, that means you can analyze this situation as you can analyze the situation as, let's say this is a train, okay, and inside it, there's a boy. So the boy throws a stone, sorry, a ball in a direction at an angle 60 degree with speed 10 meters per second. So, and as you all know, this will be having projectile motion. So after moving 1.515 meter distance, this ball comes on the same height. Okay, the ball comes on the same height. Okay, so the boy reaches here. This is 1.15 meter distance. So initially the speed is 10 meters per second, and the ball is thrown at an angle 60 degree. So students, you can easily understand that the boy is in accelerated frame because the train is accelerating with an acceleration a. So for the person inside will assume an acceleration of a in the opposite direction on everything. Okay. So with respect to boy, everything inside the frame will have an acceleration a in the opposite direction as of the frame. So regarding this ball, we can analyze it as it is having two accelerations according to boy. One acceleration is to its g, that is downwards, and one acceleration is a, that is towards left, because the boy is in accelerated motion. So now the time taken by the ball to come to the same height will be unaffected by this acceleration because that is affected by g only. So students, you all have learned the formula for time of flight. So t is equal to 2u sine theta by g. So simply substitute the values here. So t is equal to how much? 2 multiplied by u. What is u? U is 10 meter per second. And sine theta. Theta is 60 degree. So into sine of 60 degree divided by 10. So if you calculate, the value will be root 3 seconds. Okay. This is the time taken by the ball to come back to the same height. Now talking about the horizontal motion of the ball. Okay. So in horizontal direction, the displacement of ball is how much? It is 1.515 meter. Okay, so we'll use this equation. X is equal to uxt minus half of at square. Why minus? Because see, the horizontal component of the acceleration, sorry, the horizontal component of the velocity is along right direction. Okay. Let's say this angle is 60 degree. Okay, so this is your u cos 60 degree is along right direction. So taking right direction to be positive and left direction to be negative. So as you are inside the frame, you will assume an acceleration a towards the left side. Okay, so that's why we have taken minus half at square. Basically, we have to calculate this acceleration. Okay, the acceleration of train we have to calculate. So simply substitute the values. X is what? X is 1.15 meters. And ux is how much? U cos 60 degree. That means 10 cos 60 degree minus of half. No, wait. The time is root 3 seconds. As we have calculated, time is root 3 seconds. Minus of half into a into root 3 square. Students, so if you calculate this acceleration, you will get ax approximately to be 5 meter per second square. So thank you so much, students. I hope you loved the class, you learned a lot. Thank you so much for attending. Okay, so if you want to know further, you can visit this link. This is the link that is mentioned in the information. Thank you so much.